Professor Marjorie Cohn is with us. She's a professor at the Thomas Jefferson School of Law, past president of the National Lawyers Guild, author of several books, including her newest book, The United States and Torture, Interrogation, Incarceration, and Abuse. Her website is Marjorie, M-A-R-J-O-R-I-E, Cohn, C-O-H-N.com. And you can check that out. Marjorie, welcome to the Professor Cohn, welcome to the program.
My pleasure, Tom.
Or welcome back, I should say. Has the rule of law concept become so degraded in the United States that our citizens basically no longer understand it? I've heard no debate on this topic.
I think it has. And, it's interesting because I believe it was yesterday's New York Times, Ross Douthat said in his first sentence, for those with eyes to see, the daylight between the foreign policies of George W. Bush and Barack Obama has been shrinking ever since the current president took the oath of office. Yeah. And I think that's correct. And in some ways, Obama has gone even beyond the Bush administration. I mean, I'm confident that that the level of torture that was happening during the Bush administration on a daily basis is not continuing, and that's because former UN Special Rapporteur for Torture, Manfred Nowak, said that he was getting daily complaints about the Bush administration and isn't getting it from Obama, although Obama did turn over some 9,000 Iraqis to the Iraqi government, knowing, and we know this from WikiLeaks, knowing that they were torturing, and he has refused to bring people to justice for the torture regime from the Bush administration, the Bush officials, and their legal mercenaries. But in addition, he's gone beyond the Bush administration in authorizing indefinite detention, which violates U.S. and international law, saying that he's going to keep the people in Guantanamo perhaps for the rest of their lives with no charges, and giving the order to assassinate not just non-U.S. citizens, which is illegal under U.S. and international law, but also U.S. citizens, going beyond what George W. Bush did. And in fact, 5 days after he executed Osama bin Laden, or gave the order for the execution of Osama bin Laden, Barack Obama tried to take out U.S. citizen Anwar al-Awlaki, who has not been charged with any crime in the United States. And the unmanned Predator drone in Yemen that was targeting al-Awlaki killed two people, quote, believed to be al-Qaeda militants, unquote. So you have Obama acting as judge, jury, and executioner, not bringing people to justice. He actually said justice has been done when he announced on Sunday night a week ago that Osama bin Laden had been killed. But he should know that our system of justice does not allow executions without trying to bring people to justice in terms of a court of law with due process, et cetera. And this is something that he didn't just do with Osama bin Laden, but he has been doing, stepping up these unmanned CIA drone attacks, which have killed, according to the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan, 957 civilians killed in 2010. Drone attacks killed 15 people in Pakistan and wounded 4 2 days before the attack that was supposed to get Anwar al-Awlaki. And since March 17th, March 17th there was a drone attack that killed 44 people in Pakistan, and there have been 4 more drone strikes. So here's Obama not capturing people and interrogating them the way Bush did, but just taking them out, executing them.
It's like we've become the empire, the Death Star, the Star Wars. I'm curious. It seems like it wouldn't have been a lot of trouble to simply convene a trial, federal grand jury someplace, or a trial, or however you do this. You know this better than I, and try Osama bin Laden in absentia, find him guilty of the crimes, and sentence him to death, and then go shoot him in the head.
That's true. That's true. And one thing to keep in mind.
So why wasn't that done?
Well, that could have happened. That well could have happened, but it didn't. And a lot of people say, well, he was horrible, public enemy number one, the worst terrorist in the world. We're happy he's dead. And quite frankly, between you and me, Tom, I'm not sorry to see him go. He was a horrible.
Neither am I.
He was unimaginable.
There's a general consensus on that, Marjorie.
Pardon me?
There's a general consensus on that, but
exactly.
I'm just suggesting if we want to hold up after World War II, it didn't even, to the best of my knowledge, occur to the senior leadership of the United States, to Harry Truman and whoever was his vice president at the time, and the rest of the administration, and for that matter, the international community, that the Nazi war criminals who had committed crimes far worse than anything Osama bin Laden in his wildest dreams could have thought of, that those people should simply be lined up and shot without a trial. We had trials, and
you're absolutely right.
We convicted them.
After the Holocaust, the leaders, after World War II was over, the leaders of the victorious nations got together, and Winston Churchill wanted to execute the Nazi leaders without trials. He said, let's just take them out in the backyard and shoot them. But the U.S. government opposed the extrajudicial executions of Nazi officials who had committed genocide against millions of people. And U.S. Supreme Court Justice Robert Jackson took a leave from the Supreme Court and served as chief U.S. prosecutor at the Nuremberg War Crimes Tribunal. And he told Truman, quote, we could execute or otherwise punish the Nazi leaders without a hearing, but undiscriminating executions or punishments without definite findings of guilt fairly arrived at would not set easily on the American conscience or be remembered by children with pride. And he talked about it as passing a poison chalice to future generations.
Right, and that's what we're doing. We have less than a minute, Marjorie. What should we do?
What we should do is follow the rule of law, and that means that when there is a suspicion that somebody is a terrorist who wants to do harm to the United States, arrest him, bring him to trial, and the same with the people at Guantanamo, bring them to trial or release them. Don't keep them the rest of their lives. Don't allow this to be a political football with the Congress about
or in the case of bin Laden, hold a trial in absentia. I'm guessing that maybe the administration was afraid this would bring out the 9/11 truth or something like that, but that shouldn't be the reason not to have a trial.
Absolutely not.
And in fact, it seems to me also that this erosion of respect for the rule of law is why the banksters have gotten away with what they've gotten away with. That's a conversation for a whole nother time. Professor Marjorie Cohen, you can read all about her work over at marjoriecohen.com. Her most recent book, The United States in Torture. Thank you.
Thank you.